Good morning, IS 300 students. Xiaozong here. This video will be about Lab 2, building a website for your client using Webflow. If you follow me step by step, you will be able to finish the intro page. So the intro page you're asked to build will look like this. I'm going to put it in my background here. There is a navigation bar. There is a main section. There is also a footer. In the main section, there is a banner image, a name of the company, a slogan, and a paragraph describing the model, and a button to call for action. Of course, there's also the background, the shadowing, some other fancy effect, but that's pretty much all you're asked to do. I made my website for the imaginary travel agency called the Captain Nook, but you should feel free to make it for any other individual or company, real or imaginary. It's up to you. So here's how I should be able to get through this in about 20 minutes. If I'm going a little fast, bear with me. You can always slow down the video, play at the 0.75 speed if there is any trouble following. First, let's go to your Webflow account and log in. I have already done so. By the way, the left-hand side will be my canvas where I work. The right-hand side will be the finished product, what it looks like. After you log in, you will be able to see all your projects on the dashboard. Of course, I have already built it. I'm just going to start a brand new one to show you step by step how you can build something like that. Click blank site. We're going to start a blank site. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to stick with the name that Webflow assigns me. Create project. And your canvas should be ready in just a second. So here's my Webflow canvas. In general, I would like to zoom out by pressing Command and minus sign on my keyboard so I have more area to work on. So Command minus, and let's do one more time, why not? I would like to have my navigator panel always open. This gives me a good view of my hierarchy, the structure of my website. So in order to build something like that, we're going to do it in 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to create 3 different sections, space them out evenly. Step 2, we're going to populate the top and the bottom, the navigation bar, and the footer. Step 3, we're going to populate the middle section with the image, the name, slogan, a paragraph, and a button. Here's step 1. Click Add Elements. Drag 3 sections into your empty page. 1, 2, and 3. Make sure they're stacked on top of each other, like so. To space them out evenly, click their parent element, which is the body. Make sure you choose Flex right here, Vertical, Stretch, and Space Between. Let's choose a default font face for the page. Scroll down with the body element still selected until you see typography. Right now it's Arial. I'm going to choose Volquant. Because the body is the parent of all the other elements of the page, this font face will be applied to the entire page. Feel free to choose your own. Remember, we can always change this after the project. I'm going to then define a background for my page. You can use any image you want. For me, I like this website called unsplash.com, which offers many high-quality, royalty-free images. I'm going to search night sky, for example. Scroll down on my list. And there is a guy holding a flashlight. I'm going to use this as my background. Download for free. The median resolution should be more than enough, 1920 by 3154. Save it to my desktop under night sky. Now that we're here, why don't we also search another image to be used as the banner image. I'm going to search urban. I'm going to use this image, the guy sitting on top of the roof. Download for free, medium size. Call it urban. Enter. Go back to my Webflow. Before we can use these images, we're going to have to upload them first to your Assets panel. Follow me. This is your Assets panel. This is the Upload button. Navigate to your desktop or whatever you save the image under. select them, and upload. In a minute, they will be available. Let me go back to my page. In the backgrounds group, click the plus sign. And there is the image option. Choose an image. I'm going to choose night sky. I downloaded earlier. I'm going to make it cover, which basically means fit the width of the image to your screen. I'm going to choose the position by clicking the top dot. Of course, feel free to use any other image that you see fit and adjust their position accordingly. Looks about right. Don't tile because I don't want the image to repeat. Click away. Your background is set. I want to make my background a little blurry so it doesn't distract the visitor from the foreground, the messages and the slogan. It's very easy. We can simply add a color overlay to our background. Click the plus sign again. The fourth option is a color overlay. Click the checker box. We can pick a color. I'm going to choose some kind of a blue tint, a light color, and I'm going to make it transparent. Yeah, something like that. Looks about right. I'm going to click away and click away. Our background image is now set. That's it for step 1. Let's move on to step 2. Add a navigation bar and a footer. Navigation bar first. Click Add Elements. Scroll down in the Components section. There is Navbar right here. Drag and drop into the top box. In the hierarchy, navigation bar should have an indentation right below the top section, indicating that it is a child of the top section. We can customize the navigation bar in a number of ways. If you expand the navigation bar button and expand it one more time, you're going to see all these elements in it. For example, you can customize a background. I'm going to click Navbar, and in the backgrounds field, I'm going to add a color overlay. I'm going to add it I don't know, maybe a reddish kind of a color. Maybe less aggressive, and then adjust the transparency, maybe, all right, that looks about right. I'm going to click away, click away. We can also add a company logo to the brand box. So here's how. I'm going to add elements, drag a paragraph, believe it or not, to inside the brand box. So make sure a paragraph has indentation. Right now it looks hideous. Don't worry. I'm going to select all the text, replace it by the letter B. Why B? Because we're about to stylize it. Make sure the letter B is selected. I'm going to choose a very stylish font like this one, cursive. I'm going to make it very big, maybe 40. Okay, I'm going to make it a little lower by changing the margin. All right, I am also going to change the color of the letter B by picking maybe some kind of a red color like that. Let's also stylize it using a shadow. By the way, this is not required for your lab assignment, but if you want to experiment it, feel free. So I'm going to expand the more type options. There is the text shadow. I'm going to add. Let's pick some kind of a light shadow, shall we? Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to make it more blur, make it a little longer. Yeah, maybe less blur. That's it. You get the idea. You can also stylize your nav link. If you click one of them, if you want to make it bigger, maybe font size 18, and that's how. Let me also change the font size of the other nav links. Size 18. And here, size 18. Why not? I'm going to change the text of the last link to learn more. To properly hyperlink each one of these items, very easy. Just click the nav link. In the settings panel, the gear icon, you can configure the destination this link is going to direct the visitor to. For example, to direct it to another website, http:// google.com. you can link it to an email address. Click the email, and I'm going to say xiaosong@uw.edu. I'm going to close my download box so I have more area to work on. You can make your navbar even fancier by adding a rollover effect. Follow me? By the way, this is not required in lab assignment, but if you want to experiment it, and this is how. Go to the nav link, go to Styles panel. The nav link has many states. Right now it's the default state. If you click this little drop down arrow, you're going to see there's the hover state, the pressed state, the focus state, and so on. So if you define a hover state, it will change the style of these buttons when you hover your mouse over these links. For example, if you want your link's color to be lighter when it is hovered over, you can simply pick a different color for the font and add a drop shadow to make it more pronounced. There is the text shadow. I'm going to add some kind of a, that looks hideous. Maybe something like that. And I'm going to make a distance a little wider, maybe more blur. Okay. I'm going to go click away and click away. Right now, if you hover your mouse over, you're going to see the home button change the color. If you want to do the same thing to the other, follow the same steps. If you have learned class, by the way, you don't have to do each of these buttons one by one. You can simply apply a class to all of them. But that's the topic of another day. Let's populate the footer, shall we? I'm going to collapse the top section. I'm going to add elements. I'm going to add a container, drag a container to inside the bottom section. A container will properly define a margin so that your text is more readable. Go to Add Elements, Paragraph, drag inside the container. Right now it's lorem ipsum. These are filler words. Don't worry, you can always change them later. I'm going to change the font color of the text to be something much lighter, more readable. Okay. Next, let's add some social media icons. I have shared with you quite a few of them on Canvas, which I have also uploaded to my assets page using the upload button right here. So we can simply drag and drop them into the bottom section. I'm going to drag a YouTube button, why not? Don't worry if they appear to be above the paragraph. We're going to fix that in just a second. Let me drag LinkedIn. Let me also drag, I don't know, Twitter. Why not? Okay, I'm going to move my paragraph to above these icons. Right now they look a little too big. I'm going to change the size to 30 pixels. Why not? And 30 pixels. Looks about right. I'm also going to increase their margin, left and right margin. So if I hold my Option key and drag this margin button, and you're going to see it automatically expands on both directions. So I can define an image class for the YouTube icon. I can apply the class to both LinkedIn and Twitter without having to manually adjust each one of them. Here's how. I'm going to select the LinkedIn. I'm going to type image right here. I'm going to select Twitter. I'm going to type image. By the way, image is the class name with all the styles that we just defined. So right now, if you say, oh, it's too much space in between, let me shrink that. Hold down your Option key and drag this to the left and right. You're going to see all the three buttons are changed simultaneously. To center align these elements, very easy. Make sure these icons are inline block, and then go to their parent element, which is the container. Click it and select the center from the Align field. Now you're going to see all the paragraphs are also centered. If you click Paragraph, you can then align it to the left. If you think the icons are too close to the bottom of the page, very easy. Go to the container. We can set a bottom padding like so. If you want to link each one of these icons to their own destination on the internet, you need to nest them inside a link block like this. Add, there is your link block, drag it to inside the container, and now you can drag your image to inside the link block. Now if you go to your link block, the gear panel, you will be able to specify your destination. For example, http://www.youtube.com. And you can do the same thing to the other icons, which I'm going to skip. Our step 2 is done. I'm going to collapse the bottom box. In step 3, we're going to populate the middle section with a banner image, a name, slogan, a divider, a paragraph, and a button. Follow me. Add elements, container, put it inside the second box, add another container, add a button, which is right here. Don't do the form button, which is slightly different. Drag, and under the container, make sure it has the same indentation as the container. So all three are children of the middle section. The top container is going to be our banner image. The second container has a left div block and a right div block. So let's go ahead and add elements. There is a div block. Put it inside the second element. Try another one. Div block. Div block are basically ad hoc boxes grouping elements together. So right now the two div blocks are arranged top down. To arrange them left to right, we click their parent element, the container, in the style panel. Make sure it's flex. It's horizontal. Right now it is. Let's distribute it. Why not? And let's align this to the middle. Let's also define a background image for the middle section. So section, go to background. I'm going to add a color overlay. Color overlay, the fourth option. I'm going to choose some kind of a blue tint, light color with transparency. So my middle section stands out, but the background image of the page is still visible. I'm going to click away, and that looks about right. Let's add the banner image. So click the top container, go to background, which is right here, add, choose image, and the guy on top of the roof. Make it cover. I'm going to click the center dot. Right now it's too narrow. I'm going to change that in just a second. Don't tile. Click away. So that's our banner image. It's too narrow. Let's make it a little taller. So click the top container in the middle section. I'm going to scroll up and define a height. I'm going to say 400 pixels. Let's see. Looks about right. I'm going to scroll down to the background section. There is my urban picture. Click it. Right now it's a 50-50 right in the middle of the image. I want the guy to be a little lower. So instead of 50 vertical, let me try 40. Too low, 45. All right, just about right. We can also stylize the box by choosing a drop shadow. There is a box shadow right here. And I'm going to add a color, some kind of a dark color. I'm also going to make the distance a little longer. Blur. And size a little bigger as well. Looks about right. Let me make it less aggressive. Something like that. Let me also round the corners of the box. There is the borders group. Radius right here. I'm going to dial it up all the way to 20. Yeah, looks about right. To push the box out of the middle section so it really pops, very easy. Make sure the top container is selected. Scroll up to the spacing group. We can simply define a negative margin for the top box. So I'm going to define negative 250 or something like that. Okay, let's add the text, shall we? Left div block, we need a heading, a divider, another heading. So add elements, heading into the div block. Add another div block. We're going to change the div block into a divider in just a second. Inside, and let's add another heading. Right now it's a heading 1. I'm going to change to heading 3. For div block, I'm going to change the background to a light color, something like that. I'm going to change the size of the div block to 100 pixels by 2. Let's see. Let me click away. Looks about right. I'm also going to populate the right div block with a paragraph. So I'm going to collapse the left div block, click the right div block, go to here, and here's my paragraph. Let me change the font size on the right from 14 to 16. Let's see. Why not? Let's make it 18. To adjust the size of these two div blocks to be 50-50, for example, very easy. Click the left div block, change the width to 50%. And click the right div block, change the width to 50%. All right, so we can just change the heading to Captain Nook, change the next heading to Sailing Through the World with Style, or whatever you want. And the text is too close to the banner image, very easy. If you choose the banner image and increase the margin, and you can change it to whatever margin that you want. Finally, to center the button, very easy. Make sure you click the button, make sure it's block. It's going to take the whole width. Let's specify an actual width, 200, why not? And make sure the left and right margins are set to auto, so it will automatically be centered to the page. And in order to center the text, select the text, change it to sign up, and make sure it's center aligned. I'm going to make my text bigger, size 20, why not? I'm also going to increase the margin, so make sure button is selected, and give it a little breathing space underneath. Let me round the corners, like so. All right, I'm going to click away. My step 3 is also done. Your page should be ready for publish. To publish it, simply click this publish icon. Publishing under the webflow.io domain is free for free Webflow accounts, and Webflow already assigned a domain name for your website. And if you click publish, your website will be published in just a second. If you want to visit it, it's right here, this little icon right here. Click it. I'm going to zoom out so you see what we have achieved. You need to submit this URL in your Lab 2 assignment. And that's all there is to it for Lab 2. So have fun. If you're watching this, make sure that you like this video, you smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. This is Xiaosong saying so long. A link block like so. So if you go to your
I don't know.
Alexa, shut up.